Okay, hello, and welcome back to the Broken Business Models podcast. We're your hosts, Ryan and James. And before we get into today's podcast, just a quick disclaimer how we start every one of our podcasts. Nothing in this podcast or any of our other content should be taken as investing advice. We are simply exercising our First Amendment right to share our opinion publicly based on publicly available information. You should always do your own research and consult a professional before making any investment decision. So with that being said, today we're going to be talking about a company that tries to capitalize on anti-woke sentiment. But we have some concerns about this company and the operations as it says publicly. So with that being said, James, I'll hand it over to you if you want to take us through what is this stock and what's its story.
Yeah, so we're talking today about Public Square Holdings, ticker symbol PSQH. They recently went public a couple months ago with a SPAC transaction, and they're currently valued at about $300 million. So, what is this company, and how do they plan to capitalize on anti-woke sentiment? So, Public Square portrays themselves as a patriotic company that has patriotic values. And they have an online platform, including an app, where patriotic minded consumers can try to find businesses that align with their values. So, any business that wants to create an account and become visible on the Public Square platform has to agree with um, a few rules. They have to be pro freedom, they have to be pro life, and they have to be pro constitution. So if you have a small business or any business and you agree to these values, you can set yourself up and become visible on the Public Square platform. And this is a way for patriotic minded consumers to find these businesses. So, kind of the main bull case around Public Square is that, with the currently politically polarized environment, there's a lot of people in the country who are against what they consider to be the woke ideology, whether that be in regards to abortion or whatever the case may be. And so they've tried to capitalize on that, and they claim to have gotten a lot of traction in the past year or so, about a year and a half since they were founded. So here this is from their investor presentation, where they show their total number of active consumer members is increasing quite strongly. And as of the end of July, they claim to have 1.4 million active members and 65,000 businesses on the platform. Now, that sounds great. 1.4 million is a lot of people, but what exactly is an active consumer member? Well, they say an active member refers to unique consumer membership accounts with all required contact information that have not been deactivated or deleted. So basically, any account, if you created an account on Public Square 6 months ago and you've never even used the app, you never bought anything on it, well, you're still technically an active member if you haven't deleted or deactivated your account. So it's a bit misleading to call them active. And they also claim that in July, they had 450,000 unique sessions per day. This refers to the average number of unique IP addresses accessing the Public Square platform. So this kind of shows how many, 450,000 people are using the platform on average every single day. So that sounds great, but let's dig a little deeper. So the reason that they've been able to grow their user numbers so fast is because they spent a huge amount of money on marketing. So in the second quarter of 2023, which is the most recent quarter available, they spent $2.5 million on sales and marketing, which was 5 times their revenue in that same period. So what they do is they find influential people on the right wing end of the political spectrum, such as Donald Trump Jr. And then they'll pay them to talk about, to recommend the Public Square platform to their followers. And in July, CNBC reported that they just agreed with the right-wing personality Tucker Carlson for a seven-figure sponsorship deal on his Twitter channel, his Twitter show. So they're spending huge amounts of money sponsoring right-wing personalities and getting them to sign up on the Public Square app. Now, this is how they've grown, but how does that translate to revenue for Public Square? So Public Square, their primary source of revenue is advertising. As a business, it's free to post yourself if you, as long as you agree to their patriotic values. It's free to put yourself on the platform. So whether you're a brick and mortar retailer like a restaurant or a hair salon, or if you're an e-commerce company, you can also list yourself on the platform and try to gain some sales from the patriotic-minded consumers. So this is the from the Public Square app. It shows all of the businesses that have signed up in New York City, with New York City obviously being the largest city in the US. And they do have quite a few businesses that have signed up. Each blue square is a business. Now, these two purple squares here, these are businesses that have paid money to promote themselves on the platform. So it's free to join the platform as a business, but you can pay money to boost your search results. So you'll kind of show up at the top of the list and hopefully bring you more customers. Now, only having two paying advertisers in New York City, well, that's not a lot. That's very, very small. And if you look at these two, the two paid advertisers, they're not massive companies. One of them is called Diamond District Dental NYC. It is a dental practice with two doctors. And then the second one is called Hosio, which is a website development agency, which has 49 employees, according to LinkedIn. Now, the Public Square app, it has a feature where, as a consumer, you can like a business, sort of just like liking a Facebook page or liking a YouTube page. You can like the profile of a business on the platform. Now, if you're paying to promote your business on Public Square, you would think that you would get a huge amount of traffic, and then that should translate to a large number of likes from consumers. But Diamond District Dental only has two likes. You can see here it's this little hearts thing, and then Hosio down here, it only has one like. So these are really tiny amounts of consumer engagement for companies that are paying to boost their profiles. So that's a big concern here. The second concern is how they pay their influencers. As we just talked about previously, they pay millions of dollars to people like Donald Trump Jr. and Tucker Carlson to promote Public Square to their followers. Now, these influencers are given cash incentives and equity grants. So they give stock for free to these influencers. So obviously that incentivizes them to because they want the stock price to go up now that they own shares of the stock. And each influencer that they sign on as an affiliate, they give them an affiliate link, and then consumers can click that link. That way, Public Square can attribute each new user to that influencer. And then the influencers are given their financial rewards based on achieving certain milestones. So that sounds like the influencers get paid based on how many new users they bring onto the platform. Now, this is potentially concerning because it could create some incentive problems. The main issue is that in order to create a Public Square account, all you need is an email address, a password, and a zip code. You do not need to have any proof of identification. You don't even need a phone number. So it would theoretically be extremely easy to make a huge number of email address and make a huge number of fake users. Now, when you're paying influencers based on the number of users they bring, and it's so easy to create fake profiles and fake accounts, this potentially could create a problem where influencers are gaming the system to get their payouts by just creating huge numbers of fake accounts. Now, um, what makes this even more concerning is that there are third party data providers who will track and try to estimate the amount of web traffic that various websites are receiving. And here, I looked at one of these for Public Square's website, and for comparison, I also did Rumble, which is a also kind of a right wing platform. So Public Square, they claim to have 1.4 million active consumer members. Rumble has claims to have 44 million monthly consumer members or monthly active users. So Rumble is about 40 times the size of Public Square. However, according to the third-party data provider for website traffic, in August, the Public Square website had 165,000 visits compared to Rumble, which had 170 million visits. So Rumble's visits to their website was 1,000 times greater than Public Square. So that leads me to believe that a lot of these active consumers are not actually active, and they may or may not even exist because it's so easy. It seems like it'd be so easy to create a fake account, and there's potentially an incentive from the affiliates. So that's just one thing to be concerned with. Now, at the end of the day, their customers are advertisers, and for this business to work out, the advertisers need to show that they're getting a return on investment for spending money on the platform. And one of the ways that Public Square has tried to make a proof of concept is they started their own brand called Every Life. It's a brand of diapers, and they're selling it using their own platform, kind of to show that it works. And they also want to make money by selling the diapers themselves. So they also tried to make Every Life align with their values. So they claim that Every Life diapers have no chemicals in them, and also the brand of Every Life is uh, is supportive of pro-life values. And how they support pro-life values is that pro-life nonprofits across the nation get a 25% discount on if they buy Every Life diapers. So think of these are like clinics that help single mothers or whatever, and have like a pro-life stance. Maybe they would want to buy diapers um, for that reason. Now, the 20 one thing is, as a product itself, it does not seem that Every Life has good value for money. So for newborn baby diapers, if you buy them from Every Life, which is Public Square's company, it costs about 42 cents per diaper. You can buy Pampers diapers from Walmart of the same size for 29 cents each. So the Every Life is 50%, more than 50% more expensive than Pampers. And even after this, giving this 25% discount to pro life nonprofits, well, the nonprofits would still be better off just buying Pampers at full price. But the idea is, even if the diapers are more expensive and maybe don't give you a good value for money, patriotic minded consumers might still be willing to buy it because it aligns with the pro life values. So on July 13th, they launched their Every Life diapers. And the CEO said that it went very well. Specifically, he said it was exactly what they hoped to see. So within a 19-day period from July 13th to July 31st, they were able to get 3,400 orders, that was worth $300,000 of gross sales. And they said that there's a high demand for patriotic diapers because they claim most of the diaper brands are woke and people don't like that. So $300,000 might sound like a lot of money, but we have to put this into context that this is a company that claims to have 1.4 million active consumers and is valued at $300 million. So 300,000 isn't really all that much money. Also, they pulled out all the stops and did a massive marketing campaign for EveryLife. So this is a direct quote from the CEO talking about the launch of the EveryLife diapers. We had influencers share about EveryLife. We had opportunities to get ambassadors involved in sharing about EveryLife. We posted on social media and generated content in these environments. And yet nothing was more successful at growing that brand than using the Public Square platform. So they really pulled out all the stops. They got influencers and ambassadors and social media marketing, and they also pumped it on their own Public Square platform. And given that massive marketing effort, only having 4,300 orders, which is a conversion rate of 0.3% compared to their supposed active consumer members, is frankly not a great result. Also, one of their key, they hold themselves out, Public Square holds themselves out to be a patriotic platform. And so here's a tweet from Donald Trump Jr., who is one of their paid affiliates. He said, support the red state economy by supporting American-made and non-woke companies. Sign up today at publicsquare.com. So it's about supporting American businesses to go along with their patriotic values. Well, as it turns out, the EveryLife diaper brand that they created are manufactured in Mexico, not the United States. And they say that it's because there is not yet a quality manufacturing system in the United States for us to partner with. So what they're trying to say is, oh, we would want to make them in the United States, but there's no contract manufacturer to help us, so we had to go to Mexico. Well, it's kind of weird because they thought it was their idea to make diapers. Now, if they really wanted to be a patriotic company and make things in America, why didn't they choose a different product that they could make in America? So this kind of goes against their patriotic branding. Another thing that's concerning is one of the key selling points of the EveryLife diapers is that they don't have any chemicals, they claim. But they say they're unable to share specific details about the sourcing of materials. So they're not even telling us where the materials come from. So it kind of seems like this whole idea of being patriotic is really more branding than reality. And so another thing to consider is the entire premise of Public Square is that there's a huge number, tens or maybe hundreds of millions of Americans who believe in conservative and patriotic values and would be willing to use new platforms that align with their values. So this is from an interview with Michael Seifert, who is the CEO and founder of Public Square. And he said that Public Square partnered with another company called Red Balloon. And they're partnering together in a lot of their technology. So they're sharing the same technology. And Red Balloon is definitely expanding. So that's what he said. What is Red Balloon? Red Balloon, it's a similar idea to Public Square. It's an online platform with patriotic values. But instead of for consumer products, it's a job board. It's kind of like Indeed or LinkedIn, where companies can post jobs and people can find jobs with employers that align with their values. Now, I looked on the Red Balloon website, and I also I chose New York City. Within 100 miles of New York City, they only had 13 job postings, which is minuscule, right? So Red Balloon has been a complete flop. Now, Red Balloon is not owned by Public Square, but they partnered with Public Square, and it's they have a very similar business strategy. So if Red Balloon was a complete flop, why should we expect Public Square to do any better? And another thing of concern is that some of their marketing or some of their news releases that they put out appear to be misleading. So this is a news article that Public Square posted on their website. They say conservative alternative to Amazon growing exponentially as consumers ditch woke companies. And then there's this picture here showing a bunch of boxes in what appears to be a fulfillment center with Public Square branding on it. Now, they're trying to give the impression that, we're going to take on Amazon. Amazon is this big, evil, woke corporation. And with our patriotic values, we are going to create this alternative to Amazon. Now, if you click onto this link of this article that Public Square posted on their own website, it goes to an Epoch Times article. And this is the picture on that Epoch Times article. It's a stock photo of an Amazon warehouse. And if you look, it's the exact same photo. Like everything, the conveyor belt is the same. The kind of the holes and the wrinkles on the box is the same. It's the exact same photo. They just photoshopped it to remove the Amazon branding and put their own Public Square branding. So this is a fake photo that they're posting on their website. And the reason why they had to post a fake photo is because Public Square is not an alternative to Amazon. Amazon has warehouses, they have distribution. Public Square has none of it. All they have is the app. Businesses can post themselves on the app, and people can use the app to find products to buy online. But the business itself has to handle all of the logistics and delivery themselves. Public Square has zero capabilities in logistics. So it's not the next Amazon. They do not have the capability to do that. That's why they had to resort to the CEO of Public Square. He's saying, we're going after Amazon. We're going to be the next Amazon. Well, they're not going to be the next Amazon. It's much more likely that they're going to be the next Groupon. Now, Groupon completely failed as a business. The reason why Groupon failed is because when they first launched, they got a lot of interest from consumers because they got a lot of interest from advertisers, because when a business advertises on Groupon, they'll get a big influx of new customers from the Groupon platform. But once the customers um, come to your shop once, if they like it, if they like the experience you had at your shop or your restaurants or whatever, that consumer will come again, and they won't need Groupon to tell them to come again. So, uh, why Groupon failed as a business is that the advertiser would just use them once, try to get some new consumers in the area, but then it's saturated and there's no reason to continue using Groupon. And to the extent that any business would get any amount of leads in their local community from Public Square, it would likely be the same situation. Because if you were able to find some great patriotic business in your community that you like through the Public Square app, well, then now you know about that business, and there's no reason for that business to continue paying for advertising. Um, and with that being said, as we saw with the examples from New York, um, only two paid advertisers getting minimal engagement, they're probably not even getting any significant amount of new customers anyway. So I think this business is going to be a complete failure. They only raised $30 million from the SPAC transaction in the first half of 2023. They already recorded a $13 million operating loss. So they're on track to burn like $25 million a year, and they only have 30 million of cash. And they're ramping up their advertising spending. In July is when they signed a 7-figure deal with Tucker Carlson. So that's millions of dollars they're going to be spending. So as they ramp up their advertising, this 30 million of cash can be burned through very quickly. And the amount of revenue they're generating is minuscule. In the first half of the year, they only generated $900,000. And this, again, supports my thesis that there's not that many actually active consumers on the platform. Most of them are inactive if they even exist at all. And the businesses that have tried it have received very poor results. So I think this is basically a stock promotion where they get Donald Trump Jr. And all these people to try to promote Public Square, not just promoting it as a consumer offering, but also as an investment, as a stock. And so a lot of people who maybe are on the right wing end of the political spectrum might support the idea of Public Square and buy the stock for that reason. But as a business, on the fundamentals, it looks like a complete failure.
I think what just one thing to say is that like this is kind of like this doesn't say anything about supporting or being against the values of Public Square, right? Like we're just looking at the fundamentals and what kind of they're saying about their operating results versus what's verifiable in the based on publicly available information, right? So like it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the idea behind this product, but you can have a kind of objective view of the operations and the reality.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. Um, you know, it doesn't matter how patriotic they want to be. They're losing huge amounts of money. The advertising their advertising product has kind of failed. They have this diaper brand that they created, which has sold $300,000 worth of diapers, which is a rounding error compared to their market cap, and frankly compared to their operating losses. So it just doesn't make sense. I think this is from a long perspective, in my opinion, this is definitely something you would want to avoid.
And to me, at least, it seems like the fact that it is such a political, uh, the premise of the business is so political that puts an extra risk in terms of the valuation, right? Being influenced by things other than just the fundamentals, as we can see with the
Yeah, because
over
the
$300
fundamentals
million
obviously.
valuation.
Yeah, I mean the valuation is obviously absurd, and even if I mean, regardless of what the valuation is, I just don't think that the business can make any money, because even after spending such huge amounts of money on marketing, the revenue is still so small. So I
Yep.
think that about wraps it up for everything we have for this video. Um, As always, we'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Is there anything you think we missed about Public Square Holdings? Please let us know. And with that being said, we'll log out for today and look forward to seeing you on the next one.